Hi, my name is Martin. I'm a specialist technical driver coach and mentor in Open Formula. In this video, I'm going to run you through some insights and opportunities from FP1 and FP2 in Abu Dhabi. If you're interested in what my thoughts are, definitely keep watching. Welcome back to the channel, guys. I hope you're going well and enjoyed the sessions. I think turns 13 and 14 that we spoke about in the live stream yesterday, those corners that are over crest, slightly off camber as well. For me, I just had my eye on that pretty much the whole session. I just feel like that's where in FP1 I'm talking about, that's where like there was a little bit of clumsy driving there. And I just think, to be honest, they don't know any better. They're not familiar with the tight line, and we spoke about it yesterday. So just in the first part of this video, I'm going to explain what is a crest, what is off camber, what's the way to navigate them, what line do you take, and what driving techniques can you use to mitigate the effect of that really annoying phenomena that basically takes away from your vertical load and takes away from your grip. So let's start to talk about them now. So off camber, the track falls away from the curb, it falls away from the apex, and the car is on like a little bit of a tilt. I brought up a picture yesterday of Charles Leclerc, and I'll try to bring it up for you guys again. But yeah, essentially this is it here. And if you just have a look, and the best way to appreciate this is to get on the ground, get on the floor, lie on your stomach and look straight ahead, and you can visually appreciate the off camber. If you were to drop a tennis ball at the apex, it would roll away from the corner. Crest is something slightly different, and Abu Dhabi's 13, 14, 7, and where's the other one? The last corner, I think it's 16, combines all of these crests and off camber corners. So crest is like where you go a little bit uphill and then over the crest. And as you come over, again, you lose vertical load on the rear gets light as well. So what are the best things that you can do to drive around these? Well, we'll start with crests. The best thing you can do is not touch anything as you go over the crest. So have like a little no-go zone in the middle of the crest where you can attack the crest, lift, go over it, and then apply throttle when the suspension recompresses thereafter. So if I take you guys over to the whiteboard 13 and 14 in question, and I just highlight for you guys like just a red no-go zone through here where you're not touching anything, that applies there. And then on this one as well, same thing, the crest over there, just don't touch anything. So yes, you're free to commit. If I just draw in green, you're free to commit and attack that up to that point, lift, go over the crest, and when the car resettles on the exit, then thereafter. That's the best way to deal with crests. And the best way to deal with off-camber corners is that you do your rotation a little bit further upstream. Remember that the camber is falling away. I'll just draw it in orange. Camber is falling away this direction and that direction in these corners. So you're not going to be able to put your lock in late as per the red line. And if you do that, you'll find the front end just wash in the entry, and you'll find the rear just wash on exit. So this is really important when we talk about lap time and front tire life as well. So if you can do your rotation a little bit back here, a little bit further upstream, because we're going this way, then you start your rotation gently and start to load the front right up progressively, and crucially start to get some of that rotation done a little bit earlier on in the corner. And then by the time you get to the worst part of the off camber, you can afford to just straighten your hands and just go straight over that crest and not touch anything. Another key point is that if you were to lie down on your stomach, you're a man over here looking this direction at turn 13, what you should see is the apex and then the track fall away. Generally, the flattest part is here at the apex at the curb. So you definitely want to be going over that curb. If you're to go around the curb, then you're feeling the worst parts of the off camber as well. So you definitely don't want that. You want to stay as close as possible and put the left front on the curb. Like I said, guys, the tight line is really key. Like it avoids abrupt hand changes when you're changing direction. It doesn't overload the fronts. It introduces the weight to the front tires gradually. It's the same sort of thing that we spoke about between turns 13 and 14, the final two corners in Hungary. Just that direction change, not using all of the track width. It's all of the tight line stuff that we usually cover on the channel. So yeah, the curb is your friend. It's the least part of camber as well. So trying to hit your apex curb with the left front is key. So I'll show you guys a couple of videos from some of the drivers now. Like I said, I don't think many drivers tick this box very well in FP1. And look, you could argue hard tires. There are a lot of rookies, they're doing their long runs, they're learning the track, I get it. But sometimes you can also see when a driver is driving with purpose. They're driving with intention. They're trying to achieve a certain outcome. And for me, it is kind of like you either know or you don't know. So anyway, I think it's a knowledge gap. I'll show you guys a couple of the drivers now. And with the first slow-mo here, I just want you guys to appreciate how off camera it actually is. So hopefully you can see, if I just pause it there, like just the slope of the track and the slope of the car, and this is in the middle of 13, 14, and how you've lost vertical load on the tires, and obviously that right hand side's getting loaded up a lot. You see the way that car turns in, it is really difficult to navigate as a driver. It's your worst nightmare is a crest and off camber. But as a driver coach and driver, it presents an opportunity for you to be like, hey, if you're smart here, there's lap time here. So hopefully you can see that and just appreciate it. So here was Max. I thought he did a really good job initially in the first phases of FP1. He's already starting to rotate the car. Like that's as wide as Max wants to go. There, bang, just start to turn it in already, and he does that very well. So I thought Max did that well. I don't think he quite got across his curbs properly. So I think there, for example, yeah, he hit it a little bit, but I'd like for Max to go across his curbs a little bit more. I score Max probably the highest out of all the drivers. Again, I see the tight line in action here. This is not normal for Max, and we don't normally classify Max as tight line driver, but he's doing a good job. Score him a 9 out of 10. This is directionally correct for Max. I would just like him to take a bit more of the left front curb. Have a look at this. This is Kian Shields. Totally different. Have a look at just how far left he is on our screen, and that he's opening the intention to open up this corner to try to carry speed. But the shock and the realization that he's going to get is you can't carry speed through this corner. In fact, you just want to travel through with the least fuss, least problems, least drama, and minimize the downside. That's your job. So I don't think he did a very good job here in both of these sections of the racetrack. I'll show you guys just a couple more examples. Antonelli as well, I think, is guilty of trying to open up. You see the way the car points across to the right on entry? I think that's your telltale sign. If I just go back for a second. If we just watch this Mercedes here, once it gets to this point, all you really got to do is go straight and turn into the turn 13 off camber corner and take some curb. And that's your best chance to get some front grip. Whereas by going right first and then going left, you're creating more roll in the car. No. Roll is the enemy of off camber corners. The more roll you create, the less grip and the more you've got lateral load across the front tires, and they're not going to be your friends. So you see Antonelli here, he's like making an effort. Sorry, the video is a bit shaky. So you see Antonelli making an effort to get to the right, and that direction change, the car just says you're having a laugh. So knowledge gap for Antonelli, and the same for, this is Charles as well. So I just feel like, and you see how the front washes, look how wide he is now. And he turns in again and just washes again. He's missed his mark both times here. Normally we say that Charles is a tight line driver, so I'll be watching out to see if he can clean this up during the race weekend. Now check this out. If my eyes are working correctly, what I saw from Max was the best out there. And honestly, if I'm being honest with you, in FP1, it didn't look great from all of the other drivers pretty much. So I'm talking about the 13, 14, double apex, crested, off camber section of racetrack, and that's why it's very technical. So have a look at this. If we just zoom into that section, what you'll see is that into turn 12, that's the just after that straight out of turn 9, Max brakes a little bit late and deep. And so I think he gives up a little bit of lap time to Lando through 12. But have a look at this. As they enter now 13, Max is able to keep more throttle, and he's keeping the car straighter. So he doesn't need to go to the right and lift early, keep more throttle and drive into the corner with the front end, using the front of the car very nicely. And he's able to pull that delta back in his favor through that whole complex. So Max lost time in 12. I think he went a bit deep. He lost a tenth. He just pulled it back through 13 and 14 immediately over the McLaren. That's class from Max. And like I said, I score him a 9 out of 10. It's almost there. It's very good. But a lot of the other drivers, I score them like 5s or 6s. They're just, you can see in their driving that they just don't know how to take that sequence of corners. So Max has got the right idea here. It'll be interesting to see if the McLaren drivers, Lando, Oscar, are they picking up on this? Are they sharp? It's not all in the telemetry. You see how I use the telemetry to verify what I'm seeing with the video? A lot of the engineers will work the other way around and say, oh, there's more lap time here, Lando. They've seen that. And they see the throttle, but they haven't really done the next couple of steps, which is the how and the why and so on. So I hope that helps. And that's where the lap time is in 13 and 14. Lando's front end aero balance showed up again. If you're new to the channel, we've been following this story all year. Every time Lando turns this MCL 39 into a high speed corner and just pitches it in, The front end aero balance is so far forward that it just like the car's really on the nose. So what does that mean? You've got to turn very gently, very progressively, and just load up the car gently. But Lando's been struggling with that. And I feel like that was the issue that he had early in the season and what that front end suspension geometry was trying to change. And they put that in to give Lando more feel. And I always said, no. The problem is not more feel. Lando's hands are just too quick for the aero balance of the MCL39. That's my story, and I've been sticking to it literally since testing in Bahrain. I'll show you guys the video now, but it's essentially it's still with us. Why? Because they've given Lando more feel, but they haven't worked out that his rate of hands is too quick. So I'll show you guys the video now. So he turns into turn 2. It's a flat out left-hander. You see how on the nose the car is. Now we saw this in Spain. I've been following this story the whole year. There it is again in the high speed. This is turn 22, another high-speed entry in Saudi. Same sort of thing happens. And I've got more examples in China and even a couple more in Jeddah. We've seen this the whole year pretty much. So this is not a surprise to me. I'm not sure how they'll respond to that, to be honest. Like, obviously they don't know that Lando's hands are too quick in the high speed. All he's got to do really is just slow it down, take a breath, just turn in from behind the pillow and let the McLaren do the work. It's like a good chef, right? You let the knife do the work. You don't put extra effort in to make it cut. No, you just let the knife do the work with good technique. If Lando slowed his hands down a little bit in the high speed, China turn 1 as well. I'll bring it up. I'll show you guys. We've been following it the whole year. There you go, China turn 1. Seen the same thing happen and into the double apex square as well. So this is like, it's not news on the lower lap time channel. We're very aware of this. But anyway, I thought I'd call it out that this phenomena popped up again in FP1 in Abu Dhabi. The turn 6 and 7 chicane, as we like to call it, I didn't really call it a chicane in my live stream because it wasn't characterized by the curbs. For me, chicanes are all about the first entry curb, and they're characterized by unloading the inside front tire, connecting it in with that entry curb, shortcutting the first part, and opening the steering on the exit, and then going through the second part. They've removed a big piece of that orange apex curb that was really annoying in 2024. And now it's kind of usable. So it's falling more back into the chicane category. Let me give you the context and show you what that curb looked like. So this is it here. And by the way, just as I bring up these images, if you go have a look at 2024 pole, Lando Norris, he gets a little bit of oversteer as he hits this orange curb, but also down at turn 9, again, that McLaren, the 2024 one, is also on the nose. Have a look at the onboard lap 2024 pole. As Lando pitches the car into turn 9, he's still got that oversteer nose balance because he turns it in too quickly. Anyway, that's turn 9. We're back here at turn 6 having a look at this curb. This orange one is gone, no more. Max did a good job in his 22 pole and 23 pole. He went around it nicely. Lando messed it up. He took too much of it and it was really clumsy. It upset the McLaren, upset the balance. He lost a lot of time through here despite taking pole position. Anyway, I say all of that to say this orange thing is gone now. And I'll show you the video of some of the drivers through there. And it looks like this Carlos Sainz through here, left front, kind of half curb. And like it looks so usable to me now. And I'll just have to go back. It's all happened so quickly, doesn't it? Here we go. It looks so usable to me now that I'd even go a step further and say, Carlos, this is not enough. Like, it looks friendly, it looks approachable, it looks like it wouldn't upset the balance. It doesn't even look high enough to scrape the floor. There is lap time over here, guys. My eyes are telling me, like, go for it. Your bollard, as you can see, just out of shot. Now it's starting to come in shot. That's your apex, essentially. You just got to get your left front as close as possible to that. I'll show you guys George Russell as well. I think very similar. George did a good job of unloading the left front here. So he does that with a big armful of lock right at the end there. That's perfect. But I just think it was a little bit late. So if George can do that all earlier, he'll unload the front earlier and he'll be able to get in. Just have a look at the hands here and where George's left front is. So the hands come on, bang, that last little turn, excellent technique. That last turn is very important. It unloads the left front and says, you're now unloaded. You're free to make contact in a compliant way and give me a gentle experience over this curb. If George had done that a bit earlier, he would have got a little bit more to the left, a little bit closer to that aqua bollard. And you see here, just picks up a bit of understeer. The car doesn't rotate as he'd expect. And so, yeah, I just think if you can initiate that earlier and get a bit further across to the left, it's going to open up 7 nicely. And you'll be able to get on throttle over this annoying crest and go on your way down to turn 9. Yeah, FP2 observations now. The wind picked up a little bit. We've been expecting this in the afternoons as the weekend goes along. That breeze from the north is a good direction, favorable direction, and it picks up in the afternoon. So I'll jump over to the whiteboard, and this is what we did in our live stream. We pretty much said in Friday it's coming from the northwest and it's going to increase to 3 meters per second. And Saturday and Sunday it's going to come from the north 4 meters per second and then 5 meters per second on Sunday as well. But this direction is favorable. So you can put this at different corners and just see how it affects the car. You can see in 5 it's very helpful. It is becoming potentially on Sunday a bit of a tailwind into turn 6, and we saw Piastri go deep here. So I'm not sure if the wind was, pushing Oscar on there. But yeah, just as you go through 12, 13, 14, and turn into it in 9 as well, 16 helpful as well. So this is pretty good direction, and tomorrow is going to be even better. So the cars are going to feel even better. But so George came on the radio and said, yeah, the car's starting to feel much better in this session. And Behrman said, I can't believe how good the car feels at the moment as well. So a combination of factors, obviously wind direction, wind speed, picking up and helping. But I think in general, the track cleaning up, the track cooling off a little bit as well. Lap times always come a little bit quicker when the temperature cools off as well. So all things adding up for the drivers to have a good experience out there. Well, some of them. The Ferrari was an absolute piece of junk. I don't know if you guys saw it as well, but in the hands of Lewis, it wasn't just one thing either. It was like the full book of problems that you could have in open Formula driving. No braking stability, locking fronts, locking rears, no traction, no rotation, but then oversteer, like just complete disaster. Let me bring up a video for you guys now and talk you guys through it. So here we go, braking into turn 12. What happens? Over rotation a bit. And then again, so 2 over rotations on the entry. And again, so it looks like it's over rotating in that section. We fast forward to 16. Now it won't turn into 16, the piece of junk. Now as we head into turn 5, have a look at this, the gloves of Lewis Hamilton. You see the glove come on and then a correction, glove, no glove, glove again. So you can just see Lewis like chipping away at the steering wheel there as well. So there's all sorts of issues, but in general, the story seems to be similar to Qatar. Rear instability on entry, over rotation, but then strangely so understeer in some corners as well. So it's inconsistent, which is difficult. So you've got to really use your tools, but I'm not going to come down hard on Lewis and say this is not a use of tools. This car is clearly disconnected from the racetrack. So yeah, as an Italian, someone with an Italian passport, it pains me to say this, but that car is a piece of junk. Got a shot of Piastri's steering wheel and his tyre temperatures, which were very curious. I want to show you guys and get you guys' thoughts on this. Have a look with me now. As we come over, so this is a anti-clockwise racetrack. If I just go back to the whiteboard, which means we're going around in this direction, which means of the 4 tyres, we're loading up the right-hand side more, the front right and the rear right. But in this shot on Piastri's steering wheel, in terms of the tyre temperatures, have a look together with me. You got 107 on the left rear as Oscar just comes through turn 5. I think he's on the back straight now, heading down to turn 6. This is strange for me. I think I've seen this before. I can't remember what track it was, but we've seen this before on the Mclaren, where the tyre that you would think is going to be the most loaded and therefore the hottest is not the one that's got the most temperature. And if I'm reading this incorrectly, you let me know. But I read 98, 104, 104, and 107. So it's very strange. I don't know if anyone else, like I said, I'm leaning on you guys for help here. How is it possible that that tyre is hotter than its right-hand side counterparts that are getting loaded up more in turn 1, turn 5, turn 6, the long turn 9, 13 and 14, that double apex off camber crest situation? I'm not sure. That's a bit odd to me. So yeah, like I say, let me know your thoughts on that. Now, speaking of turn 13 a little bit more, I think a bit shifted. I thought Lando looked a lot better in turn 13, much better than FP1. George was struggling with the line as well. I'll bring up the video and play it for you guys now. So this was George, and this is the problem that I tell you guys, when you destroy, give me a second, I'll show you again in slow-mo, but when you destroy the front tires so much through this line, because this line is putting extra strain, extra roll, extra load on that left front tire. And not only is it slower, but it's also damaging as well. And I can see that George, I guess he's on some sort of run here, but I can see this tires look screwed. The rate that he's turning the steering wheel is not commensurate with the way that front end of the Mercedes is turning into this corner. He's saying turn man, please. And so I call that out as like, yeah, he's got understeer, but he's also not driving in a way that's helpful either. He's completely missed his mark there. He's going to hit the wall if he continues. And it's like, yeah, the thing is you get into a spiral as well. So the more you slide the fronts, the more they overheat. And then an overheated front is one that's going to want to slide more and overheat more as well. So you got to be you got to, like, I'm clear on this. The line you take, you got to turn in earlier, George. Get your left front on this curb, and lap on lap, it's just going to give it a much easier time. You won't get into this situation where the front of the car doesn't want to go into the corner anymore. So that's what can happen. These off-camber corners can destroy you. And George got destroyed. Lando did a really good job. Yeah, this is keeping the steering wheel straight there was class for Lando. I don't know if you guys saw that. And I don't have a slow-mo, but let me slow it down for you guys. So watch this. Lando just gets through here, and there's a point where the steering wheel just stays straight for a bit, and then he turns in and he gets to the curb straight away. It's so much quicker to get to the curb that way. Look at this, beautiful. The car's straight on turn in. Excellent job by Lando Norris. I've got to call out a good job for driving there. Lando's driving well. He's in the quickest machine. He's 12 points in the lead. All looks good going into qualifying if you're a McLaren and Lando Norris fan. Guys, I hope you learned something from this video and enjoyed it. If you did, please drop a comment in the comments section below, and we'll see what happens in qualifying tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and see you guys there.